have drawn more mythological beasts. They are for my Fantastic Beasts sketchbook, and I will be coloring them with gouache. This is my damaged Bristol paper. You can see I had actually drawn some mermaids on the other side, but I feel like using this paper to practice for my sketchbook, instead of practicing on some of my random character sketches. I just cut the drawings out in order to work on them one by one. I will start with this Thestral. These are some of the creature statues that decorate the Hogwarts castle. I found this beautiful statue of a Thestral and decided to paint it, since I would like to fill in my sketchbook with other things, still creature related, but not necessarily the creature itself, so I think the statues and the tapestries work for that. I am using gouache on all of them. By the way, these are the Ravenclaw nails from the Miniso shop. I don't really like Ravenclaw, but I'm on a quest all over the Minisos in Paris trying to find all the Harry Potter nails. They are hard to find. If I get all the houses, I will put a mix of all the nails on. And when it comes to the Hogwarts houses, a lot of Potter fans make fun of Hufflepuff. I don't really know why. I honestly prefer Hufflepuff over Ravenclaw. I don't like any of the Ravenclaw characters. Well, except Roger Davies, but he was more of a background character. I don't think he ever said anything in the books. He was just always in the background, living his best life. And maybe that's why I like him. Then there's Cho Chang, and I did not like Cho Chang. I was glad when she and Harry broke up. I thought she was a bit annoying. But then Harry started dating Ginny, and I'm like, no Harry, you gotta go back. Please go back to Cho Chang. I hate Ginny Weasley. I mean, Cho was annoying, but Ginny was annoying and boring. But we all know how the book ends, so it's just wishful thinking. And who else is there? Yes, there's also Luna Lovegood. She was a Ravenclaw too. I was pretty neutral about her. I neither like nor dislike Luna. I do find the way she's described to be very interesting. On the book it says that she has these big bulging eyes, and she stares and laughs without blinking. I think I remember reading that in a passage in the book. So I imagine her as this creepy skinny blonde girl with big bulging eyes. I think it could be fun to paint her, if I ever get to paint her for my book illustration set. I just finished another chapter illustration, so I'm slowly getting back to it. But that will be in another video. Anyway, enough ranting about the book. This Thestral statue is like a copper statue, so it has these reddish and green tones that I found very interesting to paint. I thought it made for a very interesting color combination, and I had a lot of fun painting it. I like how it turned out, so I left it just with gouache. Because initially I was thinking of adding some details with color pencils, but since I liked the textures I did with the gouache painting already, I just left it like that. Sometimes it's good to know when to stop instead of keep adding more and more textures. This is another statue on the Hogwarts castle. This one is a unicorn, but it's made of stone and it's found outside the castle, so there's details of moss on the stone. I decided to paint the sky color, trying to make it look like there's clouds behind. I'm trying to use the color of the paper to make the clouds, because the white gouache I have, it's not very good quality. It can't really cover the other paints, so if I can paint around the paper to create the cloud shape, that would be much better. I mixed in a grayish green for the stone to help portray some of the moss that grows in the stones outside, and I used a more vibrant green for the plants in the statue. It's kind of like a stone flower pot with a statue in the middle. I also tried to add some more vibrant green touches on the unicorn and some dirt too. It didn't look so good at the start, but once I started adding the darker values, it began looking better. Also, one of the things about this drawing is that I think I got the proportions wrong. Like his hind legs look strange. But I didn't catch it during the drawing stage. It would have been ideal to fix it in the drawing step. I didn't fix it then. I decided to leave it because I can't cover it with paint properly, since I don't have good paints that can do that. If I had good white gouache, I could just paint over the mistakes and that's how it would work out on a regular painting, but for this sketch I had to leave it. It's not so bad, it just looks like the unicorn has weird pudgy legs. The flowers in the pot are purple. I think the purple I chose came out too dark. It looks a bit stark when compared to the other colors in the sketch. I did decide to use color pencils for this one. I was trying to add more color variations on the unicorn. It just seemed too monochromatic for my taste. I went with some warmer colors to add that variation. It helped to add lighter values and show the form of the unicorn. I used them in a hatching way so it would also add texture to the sketch. I left the flower pot unrendered, like it's just a wash of the gouache. I just wanted all the values and textures to be on the unicorn since he's the focus of the sketch. Here we have a new statue sketch to work on. This is a Gryphon, I think. If it was a hippogriff, it would have a horse body at the bottom. This one looks like it's a lion's body, so I'm calling it a Gryphon. The Harry Potter house is called Gryffindor, and I feel like I would like Gryffindor more if the actual animal was a griffin instead of a lion. A lion seems a bit cliché to me. Anyway, I am also using gouache for this one. This was a stone statue also on one of the courtyards or outside parts of the castle. So just like the previous sketch, I thought about using a grey-green to portray some of the moss. I tried some color variations at the start to portray the variations in the stone due to things like dirt. It would be boring if it was just a flat grey color. The statue is surrounded by big plants that are growing on the wall behind it. They also have some fruits on it. I don't know what kind of plant is that. Maybe it's just some fantasy plant. I try to keep them mostly as shapes. I don't want to put too much details on them because I feel like it would distract from the Gryphon. It's not on camera, but I did use some color pencils to do details and to add textures. It's a very rough looking sketch, but I like it. I like the end result. This is the final sketch for this video. This is a three-headed dog. It's from a tapestry inside the castle. I really like how all the tapestries in the Hogwarts Legacy video game are like that popular medieval style millefleur. I find them very beautiful and inspiring. You can tell they took inspiration from the famous French tapestries of the Middle Ages, and they are all about magical creatures. I love this one because I love dogs, and even as a kid I loved Cerberus, that Greek mythological dog that guards the underworld. And I remember as a kid when I read the first Harry Potter book, and I thought how it was so cool that Hagrid had that three-headed dog. This tapestry is big. It's bigger than the area I painted. I just decided to focus on this area so I could concentrate on the animal. The problem is that because it's a tapestry, it's meant to be flat, so I can't go too crazy on the values as if it was a statue. I tried to do just a base with the gouache and show a bit of value change on the dog. It's supposed to be more of a cream-colored dog. I seem to have added too much red. Then I used the color pencils to draw all the different plants and flowers on the tapestry background. I think it was smarter to do them with the color pencils instead of the gouache, since I can achieve some nice thin lines with the pencils. First, I added the plants and leaves, and then I used the other color pencils to add the flowers. Afterwards, I used the color pencils to continue working on the dog. I used it to add line definition and the fur detail. But I tried to keep the texture as lines going the same way, because it's meant to be embroidery. I thought doing it this way it would show as threads from the embroidery, if that makes sense. I just think I added too much red, so it looks more like a red dog. It was supposed to be more beige or light. Not my favorite sketch, as I feel like I didn't do justice to the one in the castle. Here they are, all of them together. Overall, I do like these ones. I feel like the gouache turned out very nice in all of them, especially the Thestral. And here they are stuck on the sketchbook. I think it was a good idea to paint the animal decorations of the castle for this sketchbook. There are other statues that I would like to include in this, which is good because there are still a lot of leftover pages, so we'll see.